field. It attacked September 1st, 1939. October 8th is when the campaign ended. The German people were told over the radio not that they were attacking Poland, but that Poland had attacked Germany. And that they were told that since 5:45 in the morning, Germany had counterattacked. And that's what the German populace believed was responsible for the battle in Poland. One of them being the fact that their allies, who had promised to attack, should Poland be attacked, Britain and France, did virtually nothing. Other than a few small skirmishes on the Western Front, nothing occurred. And what ensued was called the Siegfried in German, which means the city.
I'd like to thank the Lockport Township Park District staff, board of directors for hosting this event this weekend. A special thanks to all of our sponsors this year that made this possible.
The stage area was early September 1939 in Poland, during the invasion of Poland. Quite a bit led up to the invasion. There was a lot of land grabbing by Hitler, Czechoslovakia, and one of the demands to get out of the state was for the free city of Danzig. It was a German city. Up until the end of World War I, the Baltic coastline all belonged to Germany for about 1,000. There's a number of fallacies that are believed about the war in Poland that are quite often passed around. One of them being that the Polish Air Force was defeated on the ground. That's actually not accurate. The Polish Air Force, a few days before the attack, their fighter craft were removed to camouflaged airfields. Extremely well seasoned. They were very good pilots, but they had inferior aircraft, and that was what resulted in the defeat of the Air Force, their Air Force during that operation. There was quite a bit of background to the Polish campaign. The area to the north of Poland, which is now northern Poland, was prior to World War I part of Germany. And at the end of World War I, the Versailles Treaty took part of that area and divided it, leaving the German province of East Prussia separated from the rest of Germany by what was referred to as the Polish Corridor. The Polish Corridor had a majority Polish population. It also established, took Danzig in Germany and made it the free city of Danzig. Danzig had a majority German population. But that whole area then was part of the Polish Corridor, which separated East Prussia from Germany proper. And that was a great thorn in the side of Adolf Hitler and many Germans after the end of World War I. There was a non-aggression pact that had been signed between Germany and Poland in 1934. In April of 1939, Germany announced that they were no longer going to adhere to that pact. It's often believed that the first shots of the war in Europe were fired September 1st, 1939. It's actually not true. The original attack was scheduled for the night of the 25th to 26th of August that night. And that message got to all German units except for one. A small unit of the Abwehr, which was the German military intelligence service, did not receive the message and attacked.
Ein Mann erhebt sich, die Versammlung der alten Mitkämpfer Adolf Hitlers.
Those assembled arise and stand to greet the arrival of the German Führer. The applause greets the Führer who has just arrived in the Call Opera House to address the Reichstag, which has been called an extraordinary session. We are expecting that Prime Minister Göring in a very few moments will open formally the session in the Reichstag.
War und ist eine deutsche Stadt.
Danzig was and is a German city.
Alle diese Gebiete verdanken ihre kulturelle Erschließung ausschließlich dem deutschen Volk.
All these regions have only Germany to thank for their cultural development.
All diese östlichen Gebieten tiefste Barbarei herrscht. Wenn Polen versuchen sollte, auf dem Weg zollpolitischer Maßnahmen Danzig wirtschaftlich zu vernichten, dass dann Deutschland nicht mehr länger untätig zusehen könnte.
I told the Polish ambassador 3 weeks ago that if the situation continued as it was, if Danzig were persecuted and it were attempted by Poland to ruin Danzig economically, the situation could not be tolerated.
We interrupt this broadcast of Adolf's speech just momentarily to report a dispatch from Paris which says that Premier Dellwood of France has now called the French Council of Ministers for an emergency meeting which is to take place just 10 minutes from now at 5:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time.
Provokationen begangen. Ich habe mich daher nun entschlossen, mit Polen in der gleichen Sprache zu reden, mit der Polen und seit Polen.
I therefore resolve to speak to Poland in the same language in which Poland has addressed us for such a long time.
Once again, we interrupt very briefly this talk by Chancellor Hitler to announce that in London, Parliament has been summoned to meet at 6 p.m. in London, which is 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time today.